couple weeks ago, there was some chatter about Jayson Tatum basically saying, he grew up a Laker fan, he grew up a Kobe fan, and that the Lakers, they had no interest in Jayson Tatum. If you guys want to go back, I'll help remind you guys. The year that Lonzo Ball got drafted, it was Markelle Fultz at number 1. It was Lonzo at number 2. It was Jayson Tatum at number 3. I think we could all say comfortably here, yeah, the Celtics stole Tatum. By the way, the Celtics had the number 1 pick, traded it because they knew the Sixers wanted Markelle Fultz and still got Tatum at number 3. That's playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. So last night on Sirius XM NBA radio, there was Magic Johnson was on there. Eddie Johnson is part of that show as well, so I'm sure they got a relationship there. And there was a conversation. Magic wanted to clear the air about the Jayson Tatum situation and why the Lakers didn't draft him. Take a listen. I want to play this for you guys, and then we'll react to it.
I wanted to address something because I didn't want us to go without addressing what Jayson Tatum said, and I wanted to make sure I addressed it first on your show, Eddie, when he said that, he was sorry or upset that, the Lakers didn't, I think, draft him or take a look at him. No, we took a look at him. I was the president. But the problem was, Eddie, we were top heavy in forwards. I couldn't take him because we had Brandon Ingram, who was only in his second year, Julius Randle, Larry Nance Jr. So I had already too many forwards.
I got to pause this real quick. I want to talk about it. It's actually a good way of doing it. I see a lot of people do this on YouTube where while the interview's going, they could pause it, talk about it. If you're Magic Johnson, right out the gate there, I don't like where this is going, where this conversation's going. It's basically Magic Johnson making an excuse of why didn't, guys, I can't take Tatum. I already had Brandon Ingram. I already had Larry Nance Jr. I already had, who's the other player that he mentioned? I already had Julius Randle. Guys, I already got too many forwards. I can't take Jayson Tatum. So let me get this right. And this is why, and listen, for me, Magic is he's my favorite player that I've ever watched play the game. And I really didn't even start watching the game until he was close towards the end of his career. I just love that floor general that can drop 10, 12 dimes. It can get you 25, his leadership, all that stuff. I don't know what Magic's talking about here. I don't. If you're Magic Johnson, so you're going to tell me if in that same draft LeBron James was there, you're not going to take him because you already have a forward. You're going to tell me in that same draft, let's say there's a better forward than any of the forwards that you have. And I know we didn't know what Tatum was going to be. That's a mistake of looking at the draft like that. You can't say, especially for a Lakers team, you're rebuilding anyways. Who cares? Get as much talent as you possibly can. You're literally rebuilding. It doesn't matter. Keep listening to Magic.
Forwards. There was already problems because they all wanted to play, right? And so if I took another forward, we would never see this Tatum if he had ended up with the Lakers because he would have been sitting on that bench because we were already had Julius and Brandon Ingram starting, right? So I'm just happy that we needed a point guard at that time. And that's why we took Lonzo Ball, and we didn't need the locker room to have any problems with another young forward. But I'm happy what's happened for Jayson because he's been amazing with the Celtics. And so I wanted to address that and let him know, yes, we looked at him, but his agent also didn't want us to work him out because he didn't want him to end up with the Lakers because we are already top heavy with forwards.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. We actually don't even know to go any further because I got the clip from his agent that's going to be here for a second as well. Let me just be very, very clear here. I know we don't know what Jayson Tatum was going to be, but that's why it's good to have the conversation Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. We know what Tatum is now. So what I would have liked to have heard from Magic Johnson, and here's the reality of it, and maybe Magic doesn't want to do any of that right now, and trust me, I see the De'Aaron Fox comments I'll get to in just a second. What I'd like to have seen Magic say was, listen, we got caught in the Lonzo Ball hype. We got caught in Lonzo Ball being from Los Angeles. We got caught in a point guard that wants to, be a player that we thought there's a lot of entertainment value, and he's going to set up BI, and he's going to set up Julius Randle, and he's going to set up Larry Nance Jr. and whoever else that you want to say. We got caught in, we need a guard. And that's what we got caught up in. But at the end of the day, when we look back on it on Tuesday, December 17th, it was the wrong decision. That's all. I think as long as you admit we made the wrong decision. A lot of people make mistakes during the NBA draft. Where did Giannis go? Where did Kawhi Leonard go? Where did Nikola Jokic went in the second round? Draymond Green went in the second round. Manu Ginobili. Go look at all these great players that went for Kobe Bryant went past top 10. Mistakes happen in the draft every single year, period. Every single year they happen. What I would like to have heard Magic say right at the end, guys, I gave you all the context of what we were thinking at that time. But Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, we made a mistake, period. Jayson Tatum should have been a Los Angeles Laker. That's all. And then I think you tell everybody, it's like, okay, yeah, they made a mistake. Guys, go look at every draft. There's people making mistakes every year. Lakers, add that to the list of a mistake that they made. That's all you got to say. But I think if you're trying to justify, no, we couldn't do it. Nah, his agent this, his agent that. You made a mistake. You know who else was in that draft? And this is why everybody's putting the De'Aaron Fox stuff out there. I'll tell you what people are talking about. Here was the draft order. Here are the first five. Markelle Fultz went number 1 to Philly. Philly will tell you to this day, what the hell were we doing with our pick? Lonzo went number 2. Listen, I said this before. I'm a fan of Lonzo Ball. There's a point guard that wants to play defense and pass the ball. That does not happen too often in the NBA. Couldn't stay healthy. Lonzo couldn't stay healthy. We know the issues he's having in Chicago. The man couldn't stay healthy. Jayson Tatum went number 3. Josh Jackson went number 4. Every Phoenix Sun team executive would say, yeah, we made a mistake as well. De'Aaron Fox went number 5. So the best point guard in that draft, I mean, I haven't looked any further. It was De'Aaron Fox. Lauri Markkanen went a little bit further down. Donovan Mitchell went number 13. Donovan Mitchell is in that. Look, again, I'm going to say this. Bam Adebayo went a little bit further. There are all-stars every single year that are not going top 10. That's just how the NBA works. You just have no idea what eventually happens. My only issue, I thought, with Magic had more to do with Magic. Everything you just said is fair. You're right. Your justification. Here's the one thing you didn't say. And oh, by the way, we made a mistake. We should have took Jayson Tatum. And people may say, yeah, but you know what, Al? They would have traded Tatum anyways because they had to go get Anthony Davis. You don't know that. Maybe they traded Tatum in the draft, or maybe they traded Tatum as part of that deal, but they kept Brandon Ingram. You don't know that. You have no idea. We have no idea how it would have worked out. But nonetheless, however you look at it, I want to play real quick. Here's the agent. So here's what happened. Sirius XM, Magic goes on yesterday. The agent goes on Sirius XM this morning. He's explaining his side of the story of what happened. Take a quick listen.
Correct in what he said, but the way it was presented was a little different. I mean, everyone knows that the draft starts in June and guys finish the end of March Madness and they work out for months. Well, Jayson worked out in LA for months, training with Drew Hanlon there. And the Lakers knew that he was in LA and never called. And in late June, they called and wanted to bring him in for a workout. But by that time, everyone knew that they were taking Lonzo Ball. So when Rob Pelinka called me and asked if they could work Jayson out, I said, well, if you're not going to take him, why are you working him out? And so I said, get me on a call with Magic and we'll talk about it. So he set that up a few days later, get on the call with Magic. I think it was around June 13th. And I said, Magic, everyone knows you're taking Lonzo Ball. He goes, yeah, well, we're really heavy at forward position and we need to take a point guard. And so, that's probably who we're going to take. He says, but we'd like to look at everybody. And I'm like, well, if you're not going to take my guy, he's been out there all summer. He's now in St. Louis. He's working out for other teams. I'm not going to fly him back across the country for a workout when you guys aren't going to take him. And
all right, I'm going to stop it right there. Two things kind of stood out. I actually think it's a mistake from that agent too. If you got a chance, I think even if there's a small chance, I'm still working out my guy with the Lakers. And if I'm Magic Johnson, I'm also probably not telling the agent, guys, there's no chance we're not going to take your guy. What I would tell him was, No, we might be leaning towards Lonzo, but if Tatum has a great workout and we feel like, this can make a lot of sense, then we'll reassess everything. I think both sides maybe got a little bit stubborn. I think and listen, I know this was back in 2017, but I'm only bringing it up because they're bringing it up. I'm only bringing it up because there's a clip yesterday on Sirius XM of Magic and a clip today of the agent this morning with Brian Scalabrini on their show that they did in the morning. I would just, he's trying to clear the air and basically say, well, don't blame it on us. You guys were the ones that were saying you already got Lonzo, so that's why we didn't have him come work out. At the end of the day, I will say this. I think the thing that I pay attention to most, I'm okay. Mistakes are going to happen in the NBA all the time. They're going to happen in sports. They're going to happen at home. They're going to happen at your job. Just own up to your mistakes. That's all. That's it. Mistakes are going to happen. And I think if I'm Magic Johnson, I think the one thing that he left out in that entire conversation was, at the end of the day, we clearly made a mistake and we didn't read that right. At the time, this is what we thought, and we were wrong. And by the way, if we wanted a point guard, maybe we should have went with De'Aaron Fox. If we wanted another player, who would have thought Donovan Mitchell was going to be the player that he became? So that just tells you a little bit about the draft. But when I saw that yesterday, I'm like, I definitely got to bring that up.